Hola, mi familia. Um, this video is kind of impromptu. I wasn't prepared for it. I'm not even sure exactly what I'm going to say, but it needed to be done as it's the theme clip. So, um, I'd like to start with this. Whoever sent me this, that was a mistake. This means war, and there's only one symbol on this list that I'm gonna have a problem with. I wonder if you can guess which. Anyways, that'll be it for a later video. Just a heads up, because I've got a particularly wealthy artillery. So prep. Anyways, fiction. Fictions and fictitious works. There's so much that could be said about it. It's a window into imagination and the skilled creator, artist, writer. Um, I can have a lot of fun with it, and it's a really fun practice. Of course, everybody has some level of creativity. Usually, especially the people who say that they don't, the people who like to say, "Well, I don't have it. I'm not creative. I don't have any skills and sets in that regard." That's bullshit. Of course, you do. Everybody does. We're creative beings. That's why we're here. We're innately qualified. Each and every one of us has that divine spark in us. We're given the power to create, and we create constantly, all day long. We create with our very minds, and we create in our minds, as I've spoken to in recent meditation videos. We create worlds with our minds using this as a tool, and we share our creations in this material plane. In on this level of existence, we share our imaginations with each other through these windows we create. Books, video games. It's got to be the coolest media for sharing imaginations and creations, that because it immerses you in the story. It makes you a part of it. You actually get to experience it to some degree. And for people who really get into it, people who are skilled at engaging it, that experience can be just as overwhelming and just as informative as the real thing, So, and that's a potentiality. But then there are people that are like gamers I see who post things talking about how horror games have caused them traumas, like games, the horror games that can cause you actual trauma and give you nightmares. Like, dude, if a video game is traumatizing you, then you need to get out more, man, because fuck me, there's some real heavy shit out there, and obviously you're missing all of it. Anyways, for the creator, like such as myself, or a writer, it may seem like it's fun and games using the imagination to create, and it is fun and games. It's meant to be fun and games. However, when you are put under a deadline, or when you do feel you need to be expressing something, or there's something you need to get out, you need to get words on paper, and you're unable to do it when you don't have that inspiration, it can be a terribly difficult work. It's exceptionally challenging you know, um, to outdo yourself and to continue doing your best, and to keep putting on page. And if you put something on page that's not good enough, and you have to, you either have to live with that, or you have to destroy it and start over. And it's like, you can sit there for days, for weeks, you can sit there for months hungover because you haven't stopped drinking since last Thursday, staring at a fucking computer screen. I mean, it can get rough. It's a tough job to do. It's not easy. And then you're racking your brain over this, and you're coming up with fucking nothing, and you're stuck in a fucking seat staring at a screen, just killing yourself. Hating yourself because you can't fucking get a sentence out. That's tough shit. That happens. And it's not, you know it's not manual labor, but it's mental labor, and it's emotional labor, and it's very difficult. It can get to be an exceptionally difficult job to do. So, don't rag on writers or whomever. That It is a terribly difficult job to do, let me tell you. But um, when we do come up with something good, when they do, when creators, writers come up with something good, and we're able to put it down and give it to you, that's a magnificent thing to be able to share these worlds, create worlds with the mind and the audience, the reader, the viewer, the player puts that divine spark into it and gives it life and breathes life into it, and we get to have somebody else experience our creation and hopefully give us feedback on it, which nobody gives me feedback on my writing, and that really sucks. Let me tell you, that sucks. That's lame as fuck. I put a lot into that, and you guys just kind of read it and then like, whatever, and blow it off, and that makes me think that it's worthless bullshit, and I fucking wasted my time on it, even though I think it's awesome. But whatever. I mean, I got past that a long time ago. Anyways, what I think I should be speaking to more here is the nature of our understanding in regards to this. There are many people amongst the scientific community, amongst the metaphysical community. We've known this for a long, long time, especially in the realm of Buddhism and such. We've known these things for a long, long time, but science is now becoming aware that there's a lot of theories floating around as to whether or not this world's a simulation or some kind of a video game, or whether it's even real at all in any sense. And you can't say one way or the other, but you'd have to lean towards no, this is in fact a dream. This is a fictitious world that we're living in. There's no actual solid substance to it but the substance we give it with our observation. So it's actually no different than sharing, a book or a game. There's no difference. We're living in an illusion, and if you were to see things from a fourth dimensional perspective, or at a fourth dimensional perspective, you can see how it's kind of it's a trick. It's a magic trick that we're playing on ourselves. That time itself is a creation, a holographic illusion that we create by our very being. Just by being here, we create a reflection that gives us feedback that we understand as being a reality, but in fact, it's no more real than the thoughts in your head, and it is to some extent almost entirely illusory. But at the same time, you can't say that it's not real, because what is real? I mean, it's no more or less real than than a story read on a sheet of paper, but it's no different. It's not. There's nothing you can compare it to say that this is real and this is not. This is a dream. You're gonna wake up from this dream into another dream, into another dream. There is no real, and that's the startling realization that a lot of people are afraid to get to. Most people are afraid to get to. In fact, I'm gonna have to go ahead and bet that people watching this, a lot of you watching this, are just kind of blowing it off right now. You're not even really thinking about it, because you're seriously, your brains are defending you right now. You're defending yourself against that reality. That's the truth. And maybe a lot of people aren't really informed, and they don't know enough about what's happening in the world, and how physics operates, how the world operates, to get a grip on that understanding. But go ahead and dig into it. You're going to find that the deeper you dig, the thinner it gets, until you hit bottom and there's nothing there. The, the world is an illusion. Life is an illusion. This is a dream. And I don't think that that's a negative realization to come to. It should be a positive realization. This is our dream. This is our fiction. We're creating this. We're telling this story to ourselves. This is a story that we're creating, a dream that we're creating, that we're living. This world is our creation. That should be liberating, honestly. It's not. This world doesn't belong to anyone but you. This life doesn't belong to anyone but you. You're creating it. And in a sense, it's fictitious. In a sense, you're fictitious. I'm fictitious. We're characters that we've created to fit a certain theme, to fit a certain persona, to tell a certain story about who and what we really are, which is just this one. thing, this one entity that has 100,000 million different forms. It's been telling this story all throughout eternity, over and over again in different ways, maybe searching for something, maybe just trying to create something, maybe just having fun. Who gives a shit? The point is that you can create what you want with this life in this world. And there's a certain sense of lostness when you do find that, when you do hit the boundary and you see that there's uh, no real bedrock to existence, that it is in fact a kind of a dream. Uh, there's a sense of lostness and a sense of melancholy, kind of loneliness to that I find, but that could be my personal understanding. You know, that could be my personal reflection of it. Who knows? But a lot of other people do express the same thing. People who've seen it express the same kind of melancholy, sort of lostness or sadness to it, endlessness. But I think it should be liberating at the same time that, you know, that this world, whatever it is, it belongs to us. And it is our dream. And it's not just our dream like we're dreaming. It's our dream, and it's our aspiration. It's something that we have worked to achieve, something that we've worked to accomplish, something we've worked to create. And we're still working to create it. We're still working to solidify it. We are still working to realize it. And I do believe that that's the point. That's the point of playing this game, is that we're trying to realize ourselves, trying to make ourselves real, trying to make this life real by engaging it directly, without all these filters and illusions and blockages. And that's, there are varying layers to this idea that the world is fictitious, that it's an illusion, that, you know, that a lot of what we think and feel, a lot of what's presented to us, most everything that we experience comes through these filters, that a lot of which are not of our own making. And so there's an illusory factor to that. There's an illusory factor to the way that we perceive things. There's an illusory factor to the way our brain perceives things. The brain cannot tell the difference between what is imagined, what is remembered, and what is actually happening. And that's because there is no difference. It's all memory. It's all dream. So I don't know. In that regard, you could say it's fictitious, is I guess what we're getting at here. But, and in many different regards, in the sense that a lot of us aren't seeing what, you know, what's real. A lot of us are seeing different versions of reality. A lot, and we're just, we call it the same thing because that's how we identify with each other. A lot of us are experiencing, you know, different feelings. A lot of us are seeing through filters that cause for us to perceive the world in different ways that are not, you know, none of which are real. If two different people have a vision of reality, neither of those can be correct, right? Because real is real. Or is it? That's the bottom line when you get down to it. There's no such thing as real. There's no such thing as when I say that the world is fictitious in a sense, that's a fiction is a word that we've defined within this sense of a reality. There is no fiction, there is no real, there is no actual anything. It's just, it's all a dream. And that you can get lost in that. You can really get lost in that. So personally, I myself and a great deal of travelers who have reached the boundary have turned right around and come back here, having come to the rock solid decision, the only one real truth, that this is what matters, this place. There's nothing out there to find. There is no out there out there. There's nothing, you know, worth, you know, traveling far away from Earth, or the physical material plane, worth finding. There is no truth or reality out there. The truth, the reality is here. That this planet, this place, the relationships that we build in this place with each other, that's what matters. And that's the only reality there is. It's the only thing that really matters, is our relationships to our world and our home and to each other. The relationships that we build. That's the only real thing. Nothing else matters. Um, I suppose that's the point. And I would speak, you know, to the theme of fiction in regards to our ultimate metaphysical understanding and, where we're approaching things from. And this understanding, it's only met by people who have reached the boundary. It's only met by people who have dug that deep and found that, gotten to the bottom of the mystery, as it were. So it's not going to be shared by all the operatives, and it could be a topic of discussion and debate. It's not it's not a rock solid reality. There is none. But that's the way I've seen it for a long while, and I do believe that's what matters: our relationships to each other, how we treat people, how we treat ourselves, just the fact that we give a shit about each other, that we take care of each other, that we look out for each other, that we care about each other. That's that's what matters. And if you don't have that, you better get it, because there's nothing else for you to have. You build all the fucking money you want. Collect all the inked papers you want. Collect all the coins you want. Buy the whole fucking world up if you want. It doesn't mean shit if you don't have love, investment in each other, and in purpose, which our purpose is each other. So that's that. I guess I'm kind of rambling here now, but forget. You're in trouble. Kila Salai, Teriuni Siari. Namaste.